All right. Welcome to Stephen King's Saturday Night. Before I continue, I have an announcement to make. I'm going to be making this Stephen King Saturday Night a more permanent thing. I want to keep doing this. I have enough movies to do it. The only problem with that is, I've already kind of been thinking about this because I don't like the way I'm doing this. That's Franchise Fridays. Now, I know I bring in and cancel a lot of shows, which is why I don't do a lot of weekly shows. That's why I limited it to two, because I couldn't do 3 or 4. It was too much. But the thing with me and film series, I like to knock them out. I like to binge. I like to knock them out. Boom, 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 boom. And trying to do that with Franchise Friday, where I watch one, wait a week, watch another one. I mean, I could binge them, but I got other stuff I gotta do. Now, if I'm gonna say, okay, I'm gonna do this movie series, and that's what I'm doing, that's another thing. So, I've decided Franchise Fridays is going away, but Stephen King Saturday Night, that's staying. So, yes, I got enough movies to last me a while. I'm gonna get some more Stephen King movies. You know, there's some on Tubi, there's some on Vudu, there's other free stuff. But we're talking about The Mist today. A movie that's ending is legendary. It just... So going into this, I knew the ending. But I didn't know how powerful the ending was going to be until I actually saw it. I mean, I've seen clips of stuff, people talking about it, but it doesn't have that ambience. When you get to it and you see it happen, and the score is playing, and you get everything going on, oh yeah, it hits you. What's the story with this? The story is that this man, David Drayton, he and his son, after a storm, he and his son leave his wife to go to the general store to get some stuff, some supplies, and there they get stuck in the general store, and some weird creatures start to surround, just as a strange mist seems to roll in with these creatures inside, I should say. And so this was written and directed by Frank Darabont, based on a Stephen King novella, of course. A masterpiece, one of the most shocking movie endings ever. So it all starts kind of normal. There's a storm, a couple of things are broken, and so David, his son, and their neighbor, played by Andre Braugher, who they don't really get along, they drive into town. It's a very small town, so everybody knows each other. Like, they're walking, hey, how are you? They know each other. And, they're there to get some stuff. And then the fog rolls in. And it was like, okay, what are we going to do? We got to stay here. And, so it's when the tentacle thing happens that you really start to see that this isn't going to be a people fighting against creatures movie, which is what I thought it was going in. I thought it was people fighting against creatures movie, and then there's only 5 people left by the end, and then the ending happens. No, that is not what this is. It's a whole bunch of shit is what it is, but it's what you would expect to happen in an apocalyptic event such as this. I forget what the name of the project is, but it's what causes these creatures. It's a military project that causes these creatures to come through parallel worlds. And I think it was hinting, because I haven't read the book or anything, but doesn't the Dark Tower have, like, parallel worlds and stuff? Isn't that what it is? And he's painting, at the beginning of this, what looks like the Dark Tower. It has a Dark Tower in the background, so that's what I'm thinking. And then this happens, and I think it might have, maybe hinting towards it. I don't know, but maybe. But Yeah, there's some good actors in this movie, man. There's Thomas Jane. I mentioned Andre Braugher's good. William Sadler. Toby Jones, who is very good in this. Uh, Sam Witwer, always good. Alexa Davalos from Angel. She has a small role in this. She gets bitten by a big bug and then plumps up. So that's one of my negatives, though, because there seems to be some kind of love interest thing between her and Sam Witwer's character, and then like almost right after they have their little love scene where they kiss and oh, we shouldn't do this, she gets bitten and puffs up and she's dead. So what was the point of her and Whitwer, expressing their love for each other? I just don't get that. And I'm gonna right now I'm gonna give you my biggest negative I have for this film. Mrs. Carmody. This character is the most stressful thing about watching this movie. She's the only thing I hate in this movie. Because I get it, okay? I get it. In a situation like this, you're gonna have problems. But with big creatures outside, tentacles, pterodactyls, and bugs, stuff like that, we don't need human antagonists. We don't need it. I've said this before in other films, zombies and dinosaurs and everything. If you have a monster creature like that, you don't need a human antagonist. The only exception is the mayor in Jaws, because he's not really an antagonist. He's not forcefully, going after him. He's just saying, I'm not going to close the beach. Here, she's an antagonist. She doesn't need to be, but she is. And what's worse, she's a Bible thumper. Now, I'm not against anything with God. I believe in God, I don't bring God into my YouTube. Unlike other people who... I see other channels do it. You want to do it? That's fine. I won't. But she's the most annoying fucking thing in the movie. Every time something happens, she starts yelling out a psalm or something, and I just going, shut the fuck up. Like when the bugs start going, and she starts reciting about the locusts, from the Moses stuff, and I'm just like, shut up. You don't need to compare this. You can be more subtle. You don't have to you don't have to say, have her freak out. We know she's a Bible thumper, and she can say, oh, this is the end of days. But does she have to recite the thing verbatim like that? I mean, come on. She recites it word for word. You could be subtle. You don't have to throw it right out there at us. She is the most unsubtle thing in this film, and she's annoying, and I'm glad she gets shot twice. Because all through the entire movie, I'm like, somebody to shoot this bitch. Because she's getting annoying, and by the end, she becomes a full antagonist. To the point that she has half the people, or most of the people, in that grocery store on her side. Including William Sadler, who wasn't on her side at first. But they go to the pharmacy and see that people are dead. And apparently seeing all this stuff has turned him. And what makes her worse is she's ignorant. She's ignorant. And what that means is, even when she sees point blank in front of her eyes, and when she hears the truth that it was a messed up thing that the army did, and when they were working on a machine that opened a parallel universe, she still thinks that God did this in spite of what they were doing. That's not how God works, first of all. Second of all, no. No. She does not need to be that ignorant. She's also the dumbest person in this movie, because even when she's presented with proof of actual physical proof that it was human beings, not the man upstairs that did this, she ignores it and says, "Oh, you know that you brought down the wrath of God on you for doing this." And I don't know if that's not what happened. Yes, I know. I've watched Blues Brothers 2000. I know that God works in mysterious ways. But I don't think he's going to open a rift to a parallel universe with a bunch of monsters. He's not that cruel. I'm just saying. Come on. And yes, so... Yes. I like the scene... No, I shouldn't like the scene, but I like the scene when Shermanator, he's in this. The Shermanator gets taken by a tentacle and killed. I like that. And then I like when Mrs. Carmody gets shot. Did I mention that? Because like at the end, Toby Jones is like had enough and shoots her in the stomach, and then shoots her in the head. And I went, yes, kill that bitch. It's a shame it wasn't at the beginning of the movie when she started to freak out. Because here's the thing. Here's the kicker with this whole situation, right? So she has this cult, right? And they throw this one dude out because the Sam Witwer character, because he's partially responsible for this. So you throw him out into the thing, right? And then when they try to leave, they confiscate the groceries they were going to take with them. And she's like, we want the boy. They want to sacrifice the boy, the kid, to appease God, I guess. And then, after Toby Jones, and everyone's like grabbing around, after Toby Jones kills her, this woman in her cult has the gall to say, killed her. You murdered her. You were trying to murder a child. And you're gonna wag your finger at that. I gotta mention this too because it's important to the plot. There was a thing earlier with a woman played by Carol from The Walking Dead. She wanted to go get her 2 children and she ran off. That comes back at the end. Trust me. So, after the death of Mrs. Carmody, they decide they're gonna leave. And they go to David's car, and 3 of them get killed. 4 of them. 3 or 4 of them get killed, including Toby Jones. But he leaves behind his gun. So David grabs the gun, and it's David, it's this one woman, and it's the 2 elderly couple and his son are in the car. And they're driving around, and the mist has covered everything. There's creatures everywhere. It's just covered everywhere. And he gets home, and he sees his wife is dead. That's sad. And then they drive, until they run out of gas. This is the ending, by the way. So they decide the only way they're going to survive is euthanasia. So, not on screen. So David looks at the gun, and there's only 4 bullets left. No, he does throw 2 out. Maybe those were duds. I don't know. But he has 4 bullets left. And you don't see it, but you hear and you see the flash. Shoots 4 times, including his own son. And Thomas Jane's acting is fantastic in this, by the way. Especially this scene. He freaks out, tries to shoot himself, but he has no bullets left. So he gets out to die at the mercy of the creatures, right? You hear the slow humming, and the army is coming through, killing the creatures and ending this reign of terror. And you get this moment where the score just swells, and David drops to his knees because he's realized what has happened. And he screams again, and it's a powerful moment. The only thing that ruins it is the 2 MPs behind him with dumbfounded looks on their faces, like, what is he yelling for? That's the only thing that ruins it. But it's just, he lost his wife. He was forced to kill his son because he thought they were going to die. He killed his friends. And we do see that a truck or whatever coming by with the woman and her 2 children, the Carol from The Walking Dead woman, and supposedly all the people from the grocery store in there too that were left behind. I didn't see William Sadler in there, but I don't know. That's what Wikipedia says. But yeah, the movie ends on that, by the way. That's how it ends. Wow. I sat there and I just kind of went. As a father myself, that got me. Imagine. Your only child. And you thought it was the right thing to do because everyone else was going to die, so... yeah. And it's right. It is one of the most shocking movies. Everyone says the movie's a masterpiece, though. All that God stuff kind of ruins it for me. Not against having God in movies, but I'm just saying that I don't think it was necessary in this film. They could have had arguments against each other, fine without a Bible thumper yelling Bible verses every 5 minutes. I'm just saying. She's the most annoying thing. She almost ruined the movie for me. But as it is, I think this movie is actually pretty good. So, what are your thoughts on The Mist? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.